If you ask the pros, what is the best character in the game, they will tell you idiotic things like, oh, it depends on team comp, and oh, what time of the game is it? I call Croc. The only way to determine the best hero in the game is through a 6v6 mono-hero single elimination tournament. That is the only 100% fair way. Today's match?
Dynamo versus Ivy. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start yet another fantastic game of One Drink Championship. 6 of the top Ivies are going against 6 of the top Dynamos. And by God, is it going to be a good game. Special surprise, after many, many days of him missing, Akurs is back. Say hello to the crowd, Akurs. Tell people you haven't been kidnapped yet.
I have not been kidnapped by GlutenSnake yet. I was just absent because I was actually late to Hayes v Warden, and then I needed to sub in for Lash versus Vindicta. Some of you might have seen me in that match.
Yes, a very good performance by the Lashes that match. And yeah, this is a very exciting game happening right now. It's going to be very funky to figure out who wins this one. So, a couple of early thoughts. I would say, and I don't know if you agree with me, Akurs, but Ivy and Dynamo are some of the worst early laners in the game. What would you say to that statement?
I definitely agree. Dynamo has the potential to be a pretty good laner, but he requires someone else to be able to follow up on that kinetic pulse.
Yes. And Ivy is incredible at denying, but her pushing capacity, until she gets like 3 or even 4 gun items, is zilch. So, it's gonna be, as I say, it's gonna be a quiet early lane. I see the Ivies are all pushed up. Except one lane. One lane is the Dynamos pushed up. Very interesting stuff. But yeah, the Dynamos are not going to be good deniers. Their projectiles are very slow. We're going to be seeing a lot more melee denies, I think. One of the Ivies already dead, and that is Moon. Let's talk a little bit about player quality this game. So we have some of the top Ivies in the whole of NA playing. We have Moon, we have Shoddy, we have Matt playing, I think. We have Conquer, who apparently plays Ivy. And on the Dynamos, we have a whole bunch of people. We have Narwhal, we have Yinliner, PK, who a lot of people in the chat are expressing love for. So yeah, it's very stacked games, you know? I do have to say, this is what I think the closest match we've seen so far. Every single other match, I've entered it with the idea that, oh yeah, there's one character that has a big edge. But this one, I'm not sure. I think both Dynamo and Ivy have huge strengths. That stone form that can block Dynamo ult, very, very powerful. But on the other hand, Dynamo can just quantum entanglement out of stone forms. And also, that stomp is really, really powerful, isn't it?
Yes, and another aspect of Dynamo that isn't directly written into his kit that you have to at least consider is the fact that Dynamos, this more affects the early laning, and I have already watched it actually save someone. Dynamo's stun animation currently is bugged, where whenever you are stunned, like through a parry, it sends you backwards like 3-4 meters. It's already saved someone. I watched a Dynamo get parried earlier, and the Dynamo got sent from the staircase all the way back to the Guardian, and it saved him. We would have seen a Dynamo death there if it wasn't for it. And you definitely need to consider that in lane, because it makes Dynamo plays, like, with melees, a lot safer.
Oh yeah, I mean, we do see like Spirit Strike being selected, which is a very funky choice. Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, you have to play the game despite of the bugs, right? Because otherwise you have to wait till release to do this championship. So we gotta roll forward. There's a bunch of other funky interactions happening, so it's not the only one. Like, I know that people were discussing Kelvin domes and Kelvin ice baths being very buggy if there's three of them on the map. So yeah. Now here's the question: what builds do you think we're gonna see? We're gonna see when I think of build variety, Ivy has a lot of things it can do. Ivy can play support, Ivy can play gun, Ivy can play hybrid, and Ivy can play spirit. Dynamo, on the other hand, has like 2 major builds, I would say: the stomp build and the ult build. And you know, the ult build, you kind of have to have your teammates capitalize. So we're gonna see a lot of spirit damage coming in from the Dynamo side, to an extent that maybe we're not going to see from the Ivies, where it's going to be a lot more balanced. right?
Yes, definitely. I think we're gonna see mostly stomp builds on the Dynamo team and mostly gun builds on the Ivy team. Because I think the Ivies are going to try to take advantage of the fact that Ivy's gun damage, when compared to the damage output of Dynamo's kit, is incredible.
Yes. Especially at the distance. And I think I already saw a long range or two. Long range is like a great item. I play Spirit Ivy a lot. I take long range, even on Spirit Ivy, because it's just so powerful. But I saw at least 1 or 2 long ranges already picked at 5 minutes in. Just so they could find those Dynamos at a distance. Dynamo is very strong up close with his stomps, but at a large distance, it's just so much more difficult. But yeah, no, it's gonna be interesting. I do think that the game's pretty equal so far, 24k to 23k. Both characters lack a lot of damage. We do see some interesting stuff like melee charge picked by one of the Ivies. Is this one of those melee Ivy builds that people keep talking about? If you have like duration extender, you can have a heavy punch off of your stone form if you stun somebody. Were you aware of that occurs?
I was aware of it, but you do not see that much, like, ever.
Yeah, it's a very, very rare build. It's not that strong. I think Ivy has the weakest melee in the game, I want to say. Like, they actively nerfed their melee damage.
Yes, Ivy starts the game with, I think, about 60 light melee damage and lower heavy melee damage than normal. She has an incredibly weak melee now.
Yes. We do already see one of the Guardians go down, though. The center lane. Very, very interesting. The Ivies are pushing their advantage a little bit. But do you see those stone forms in the quantum entanglements? It's kind of brilliant, isn't it? The Dynamos are just going to be able to very easily escape from their problems. But Ivy can press forward and escape from her problems, too. Ivy's already having heal paints. That's funky. Yeah, this is one aspect of laning we didn't talk about. Ivies have, in theory, access to healing, but Dynamos have just incredible early access to healing, don't they?
Yes, and I think a lot of the early fights are going to be really long and drawn out, because both of these characters have incredibly powerful escape tools. With Dynamos having their Quantum Entanglement and being able to bring their teammates with them, and the Ivies having their Stone Forms and Ultimate and stuff, like I said.
Oh yeah, oh, do you see that Stone Form into the air? That's actually funky. I have Stone Form many a 7 and many flying characters over the course of my Ivy career. Now, heading into the mid game, we do see the Ivies have a little bit of an advantage, but I mean, mid game is when Dynamo really shines, because you suddenly start having all those Dynamo items, and those stomps become really, really powerful. And ult into stomp is just going to be a very recurring occurrence, right?
Yeah, definitely. And we are seeing the Dynamos push up incredibly hard on that right Guardian right now.
Yeah, it's with the loss of the middle Guardian, we see the Dynamos end up on the sides. So as we are approaching the 10-minute mark, we are approaching the time of the Urn. And until last week, Urn was one of the most powerful tools in the Ivy arsenal, right? The ability to just very quickly fly Urn from one side of the map to another. Even an Ascendant and Eternus game still worked because it's just so hard to coordinate the response. And a very good Ivy knows how to drop an Urn, right? But now the Urns have been nerfed. Now the Ivy can only go as fast as if she was walking with her flight, which was not the case a week ago. So Ivy just stops being a very good Urner. On the other hand, I think that Dynamo is a very good Urn contester because he just has to be mildly near the Urn and press 4, and suddenly just so hard to contest the Urn. For the Ivies, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that we will be seeing a lot of Urn runs by the Ivies, though, even in despite of the significant Urn nerfs to Ivy's ult.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Ooh, big ult. Was there any follow-up? Not yet. Very close, though. Oh, that Fleetfoot. Was that a Fleetfoot cancel?
Yes, we do see a heavy melee cancel on Shimpy.
Yes. No, it allegedly was going to be nerfed by Monday, but it's yet to happen. People are
And
gathering
I am
together.
thankful for that.
Oh, a melee, heavy melee cancel abuser, I see. No, I mean, it's kind of weird, right? Because Ivy being able to pick up the urn was a bug that was confirmed like 7 months ago, right? It was like a thing that was very well known. And it just stayed in the game for 7 months, and people were assuming it was going to be part of the game. There's even a voice line from Ivy, which is like, oh, I picked up the urn, and I'm flying the urn, right? So I was just like, oh, it's never ever going to change, but then suddenly gets nerfed out of nowhere. Heavy melee cancel has been a thing for what, months at this point? So it doesn't surprise me that it just stays as part of the game, but yeah, a lot of people have been complaining. It just makes it so easy for you to escape. Anyhow, we were discussing that urn. Urn is being picked up right now. Big fight happening right now. Ooh, but we do see one of the Ivies is just pushing the walker. Do you think the Ivies are going to be weak in these 2v1 situations? Do you think they're going to be able to easily escape regardless because of their floor?
I think Ivies are going to be able to escape most fights because of their ultimate.
Yes. Do you think that the ult, like the Dynamo... Oh, what is that Ivy doing? Like weird sliding tech or something. But yeah, do you think that the Dynamos are just going to use their force to block the Ivies out of position? I mean, the Dynamo 4 is really powerful. It is arguably one of the, if not the most powerful ult in the whole game. And it's available only every 200 seconds because of it. It is definitely the slowest ult in the game. But having access to 6 of them, I don't know, it's going to make Dynamo a very powerful team fighter, even if that stone form kind of directly counters those ults.
I believe that Dynamo's ultimate in this match is going to play more of a defensive role, because none of the Dynamos have any items that really allows them to use it offensively. And all
For
the
example,
Ivies
melee
are
charge and
characters.
Fleetfoot? Would those be 2 items that would allow them to use it defensively?
Yes. Other movement items as well, like Majestic Leap and such.
Do you think we're going to see magic carpets from the Dynamos?
Well, it would be really funny, but I do not believe we will see Magic Carpet.
I mean, it's good. Doesn't magic carpet also expand your range, which is something that you really want in these team fights? I don't know.
Yes,
I
Magic
think we've
Carpet
seen some
gives
very
you
weird tech
duration and
choices.
range.
Yeah, we've seen some very, very weird tech choices in these tournaments. We've seen a Veil Walker, if I recall correctly, in one of the games. Like, I think, was it Bebop the Geist that had Veil Walker? Anyhow, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's weird tech choices. Regardless, the Ivies already have a little bit of an early lead, 15k happening right now. One thing that we do have to discuss is the mid capacity of both teams, right? In my head, Ivies are a lot better at securing mid than the Dynamos, because yes, the Dynamos have the ult and it's very scary, but Stone Form is one of the only ways in the game to actually destroy Dynamo without, you know, yourself being caught in the middle of it, right?
Yes, and I think it's fair to think that on paper it would be Ivy-sided, but I believe once a Dynamo gets, like, unstoppable, that mid is pretty securely Dynamo-sided.
Oh, we did see a bit of an ult exchange there, where an Ivy tried to escape, a Dynamo used his ult to try and catch the Ivy, but failed. I'm curious if we're going to see stuff like Warp Stone. Do we have any Warp Stones on the Dynamo side, or anything that enables a lot of mobility?
We see several kinetic dashes, but one thing I do want to look at is Raynor right now. Raynor is running a gun Dynamo.
A gun Dynamo? Oh, I see the intensifying magazine on Raynor. That's actually a very interesting tool. I don't... I think... is it the Stomp or is it Quantum Entanglement restores your bullets, right?
Yes. Quantum Entanglement restores ammo, and I believe it slightly overflows your ammo, and that's a huge chunk of fire rate.
Yeah, so I mean, you could play Gun Dynamo. I don't know if it's that great, especially at the distance, because these Ivies are just flying around. Every time that there's a bad battle, they press 4 and they just waltz away. This is gonna be very funky. Because at the end of the game, the most important thing is the siege of the base, right? And how are you going to be able to easily run away from the base siege? I'm curious if we're gonna see like stuff like knockdowns from the Dynamos too, actually. We do see a big siege happening though on Walker number 1. And yeah, the Walker's half dead right now. Those Ivies are pushing. We do see some of the Ivies approaching. Big fight. The Dynamos have managed to get their first Guardian of the game, but they have lost a Walker for it, which is not a great trade to say the least. No, it's
yeah, that was a incredibly bad fight for the Dynamo team because the Ivies are going to be running burn, and it looks like they're also going to be pushing up blue off that.
Yeah. I'm curious, what do we see the Ivies building? So we do see Berserker and Melee Charge, so not like a full Melee Ivy build, but some Melee stuff. We do see a couple of Outfires, we do see Active Reload. Yeah, Outfires are just going to be so important. It's a very big boost to your team. We do see already Siphon Bullets too. That is the Wander build, I think, where he goes for a very heavy Siphon Bullet. But yeah, very big push happening on all Walkers right now. Very big fights. The Dynamo does get a triple ult, but it immediately gets cancelled. Yeah, the Dynamos really need to get their Unstoppables. And I don't think the Dynamos can afford it easily. They're 23k behind. Every time they back up, every time they think, oh, we got to trade at least. Nope, the Ivies just press forward, chase them. It's a lot more Ivy leading than I thought it would be, right?
Yeah, and I believe I called it in my bracket that Ivy will most likely win this.
Yeah, I think so too. This is the first time we've like fully agreed where you're like, oh yeah, it's obvious who has the edge in this game, I think. But yeah, we do see the Ivies have been putting a lot of pressure, and Ivy, like, Gun Ivy more so. Spirit Ivy less, but Gun Ivy is very momentum driven as a character, right? You want to like keep being ahead, you want to keep pushing. Spirit Ivy, you can survive even if you're behind, because the Klutus aren't that powerful, but they're very good at handing debuffs, and you can still have a lot of utility with those silences, with those ults, with those debuffs. On the other hand, the Ivies are just destroying on all fronts here. Siphon Bullets by several players, I think, at this point. Do we see any Unstoppables from the Dynamos yet, Chris?
We do not see any Unstoppables from the Dynamos yet.
I mean, that's going to be like a major tool to be able to survive these Stonefalls. We keep seeing it, where one of the Dynamos ults, grabs 3 Ivies, and then just immediately gets destroyed. What is this weird slide tech? I don't know what's going on. Is this the thing I should know about? Yeah.
Whenever you are at, I believe it is 9 meters a second or higher, you are able to continuously crouch while moving, and it'll allow you to slide several times.
Yeah.
It basically does nothing, but looks fun.
It looks fun, and that's the most important thing, right? I mean, the Ivies are just winning hard right now. Almost a 30k difference. Might as well have them look fun while they're doing it. Yeah,
More on the unstoppable issue with Dynamo, I believe that the Dynamos, even if they saved up for unstoppable right now, they are so low right now that none of their builds are really online compared to the Ivies. So even if they bought an unstoppable right now, I don't think it would be that much of use.
Oh, do you see those tether after tether after tether? Just the Ivies all tether each other? That actually sounds very scary, because tether has a massive fire rate boost, and you don't want to be in the line of sight of Ivies when they're all tethering one another. It's very funky. Yeah, shrines get destroyed. Patron very shortly getting destroyed.
Oh, wow.
And the Ivies just roll out. Yeah, this game is a lot more lopsided than I would have thought. I did think the Ivies had an edge, but I thought it was going to be a lot closer than this is.
That was an incredible amount of patron damage there. I think that's the fastest the patron has gone down so far in any of these.
Oh yeah, it's because the tether from Ivy, the Covenant, like the Watcher's Covenant or whatever it's called, it gives you a massive fire rate boost. And imagine you have like 4 of those at the same time. I don't know, there is this document written by that guy which has all of the gimmicky stuff. All of the quirky connections, and maybe you can only have a tether active at a time. Oh, look at these quantum entanglement and the quantum entanglement happening here. How many bullets does that give you? That was a very funny sight.
It was a very funny play, but I think they really accepted their fate there. They knew they weren't really going to win that one, so they just started messing around.
Yeah, which it was really funny though. We do appreciate fun content here. But yeah, it looks like the Ivy should have enough of an advantage. I really don't think that one Dynamo by itself is going to be able to do much here.
Are you doubting them?
I'm a little
You
bit.
might have been riding doubting them, actually.
Yeah, I might have been correct in my prediction of one Dynamo versus 6 Ivies was not going to work out. Well, GG. Pretty quick game. Hello, Ivies. Congratulations on your win. Who do you think was the MVP of the match? You can name a person, you can name an item, you can name your character, you can name an ability, you can name whatever you want.
I'm not even gonna lie, I think everyone did perfect that match.
Can we nominate the character, bro? Stoneform Broken.
Stoneform Broken.
I want to give a very special shout out to Kudzu. They just never had waves.
I want to give a shout out to Melee Ivy.
Melee Ivy.
Shout out to Cyrus.
Shout out to
Yep.
Cyrus.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, guys. What do you think went wrong? Do you think it was
I
a
think we
strategy
have
mistake, or do you
unwinnable.
think this game was unwinnable?
I think we have one of
Dynamos
the
are
worst
awful lane.
laners in the game, and the second they get any gun items, they're online and you can push towers, and we can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty hard. Like,
Plus, if
Ivy
any
gun
of us
destroys.
goes, yeah, if any of us goes for ult, they just stoneform us out. So it's hard.
Yeah. Unless you
I
hit
do
like
like-
all 5 of them.
Yeah, or until we get items like unstoppable, but we didn't get to that point.
Yeah.
So there you have it, folks. Ivies turn out to be a lot better than Dynamos. They are going to be advancing, and those tethers and stone forms are going to be coming for a whole bunch of other heroes. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and get ready for the next match. Thank you.